I personally feel you're an excellent candidate because at the age of 25, I don't know, I could really sit like this and give answers. Right now, already you're doing very well. It can be a blockbuster interview if you try. I found you very impressive. I mean, I've seen so many candidates.
If not for civil services, when you were pursuing engineering, what did you want to do?
Civil services, ma'am.
So it has started much before.
Yes, ma'am. It was in college that I decided I don't want to be an engineer. May I come in, sir?
Please come.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Please be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Leave that device on the table.
Thank you, sir.
Please introduce yourself to the board.
Good morning, everyone. I am Anjana. I come from Palakkad district of Kerala. I am a graduate in Electronics and Communication Engineering, after which I began my civil services preparation. My optional subject is Sociology. I enjoy watching sitcoms and doing journaling during leisure time.
Why the shift from engineering to sociology? Aren't engineering subjects permitted as options?
Sir, Electronics and Communication Engineering is not an optional. And I really wanted to learn sociology. And I was curious to know about the different social structures and how it shapes our society. And later when I checked more about the syllabus and the ecosystem available for studying as well, it was quite encouraging to choose this as the optional.
You have done some work related to palliative care.
Yes, sir.
What is the status of such care in Kerala? Are there adequate facilities?
Yes, sir. Kerala is one of the best states in the country where the palliative policy is really institutionalized. There's a palliative action plan, and there is a systematic methodology to ensure that palliative care is available. Accordingly, local bodies have their own palliative wings with enough ASHA workers, support volunteers, even doctors trained in the palliative care. And they provide two kinds of services. One to the bedridden people of old age, be it for any diseases. And secondly, to those people who are suffering from serious diseases like cancer, require dialysis, etc.
Hi, Anjana.
Hello.
I noticed that you have been participated in the youth parliament.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your experience of that? What was the learning you got out of it?
Ma'am, the competition of youth parliament was basically a speech competition held by the ministry. And by participating in that, I got to learn about different aspects of the country. I got to interact with different people from different parts of the country, and that really broadened my exposure. Secondly, it also encouraged my critical thinking because we were asked to speak about issues like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, on environmental policies of the government, etc. So which really helped me read more on that and understand a broader idea about the country. And it also shaped my confidence, my ability to accept diverse views from different people, etc.
You mentioned Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. What do you think that the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao and all these other schemes, they have really helped in the empowerment of women or improvement of women's status? And if so, how?
Ma'am, the answer is a mixed bag. Due to such policies, we definitely have been able to improve the status of girls' education, as has been seen by the increased gross enrollment ratio for the school education as well as higher studies. But despite the schemes, although we institutionalize the schemes, we have not really completely internalized the idea of gender equality on a broader sense, I would say. Because patriarchy still exists in our society, and as a result, girls, even when they are in schools and colleges, have experiences, say for example, infrastructural gaps with respect to access to menstrual products. Secondly, stereotyping of girls and sexual assaults even within the campuses and outside. So there needs to be more encouragement to internalize the value of gender equality for comprehensive women empowerment, I would say.
So you just heard you mentioned menstrual health. You heard the Supreme Court
Yes,
recently made a comment. So what were the directions that the Supreme Court gave, and why? What made them talk about this as a fundamental right?
Ma'am, Supreme Court said that schools and educational institutions should ensure that there is availability of menstrual products for all the girls, And the court rightly pointed out that period is something that should end a sentence and not a girl's education. So this was really important, so that it really activates the Article 14 equality to 16 equality to all people, 14, sorry ma'am, equality, so that the girls who are unable
Article 14 was referred to, or was there?
and 21 as well ma'am, right to life and liberty in complete sense.
Okay.
So the Supreme Court ensured that only if the schools and educational institutes make it their responsibility to ensure that the menstrual rights are protected, the girls would be placed on an equal footing, one with the boy counterparts and two with other girls who can have access to sanitary products.
Okay, coming to this currently we are having this special intensive SIR.
Yes, ma'am.
What are the issues that are currently being raised in connection with it? Can you give us an idea?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
One of the major issue was with respect to large number of people being in the AHD, the absent, shifted or deleted list. Say for example in Kerala, it was as high as 24 lakhs to the best of my recollection. And secondly, ma'am, there is also the issue of unmapped category of voters, wherein people who were not able to find their position in the new role despite being placed in the 2002's role due to problems in the ECI software. Thirdly, ma'am, there have also been concerns regarding the heavy workload it places on the BLOs. There had been a few instances of suicides, which really brought in so much of discussions about the work-life balance of the people on field. Yeah.
Okay. Are you familiar with this Form 7 issues that are currently coming out?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you be able to explain what that is?
May I take a moment?
Yes, certainly.
Ma'am, Form 7 gives the opportunity for people to delete their names from the list by requesting that the names be deleted. And lately there had been accusations in Gujarat that large number of names were in the Form 7 list despite people not being aware of making such a request by themselves.
Okay. The Supreme Court recently, just a couple of days back, commented about, they had this issue with WhatsApp and Meta about
Yes,
the sharing of data. Are you familiar with that, and could you explain what the issue is?
Yes, ma'am. The Competition Commission of India said that the Meta is making an abuse of its dominant position, and as a result of that,
Meta or
Facebook, the parent company of and as a result they filed an appeal, which is now being ongoing in the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal. And the Supreme Court said that this provision wherein the data is being shared from WhatsApp to Facebook is against the data privacy of the people, and it cannot be entertained.
Why?
Because right to privacy is a constitutionally guaranteed fundamental right in India.
Is it the privacy itself that they are referring to, or is there something else?
Ma'am, there is also an issue of consent and whether people are able to make the consent to their data sharing policies with complete information and complete agency. So very often people are not in a position where they can make complete informed choices. So this puts us on a lower footing to that of the companies.
We have a DPDP Act.
Yes, ma'am.
Why is that not effective in this issue?
Ma'am, I need to read more on this.
Okay, that's right. Then, this time in the economic survey, there was a reference to something called the ministerial veto regarding RTI. Are you familiar with that?
No, ma'am, I have not come across that.
Okay. You've been very active with in school and college, and vis-a-vis in just a minute competition also you have won.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me something about what was the topic that you had when you won the Just a Minute? if you remember it.
I don't actually remember the topic now, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, it was basically a topic that was given to us impromptu, and we were asked to speak on that for a minute. I'm sorry, I don't remember it now.
No, that's fine.
Yes. Anjana, you had studied sociology
Yes,
out
sir.
of interest about understanding the society and things like that.
Yes.
That's good. See, one thing is that when it comes to freedoms, particularly freedom of women, Supreme Court through a series of judgments, particularly in recent times, last 5-6 years, have expanded the area of freedoms. For example, legalized the live-in relationships, then same-sex marriage, relation, things like that. Supreme Court has expanded.
Yes.
And all those were hotly contested issues before the Honorable Court. Now these things are have become matters of law. Do you think legalizing some of these things like live-in relations, same-sex marriage and things like that, it will also have some social consequences? Can you think of that and give your views on that?
Yes, sir.
I'm not wanting you to say support something or
Yeah.
oppose something, because this is now law of the land.
Okay. Sir, I believe laws can be good instruments of social change. On the first place, by institutionalizing something like a same-sex marriage or live-in relationship, it becomes a part of the collective conscience of society eventually. Initially, there may be resistance because people may have some inhibitions to accept a new social reality, but eventually, people would start internalizing the laws to a good extent. We have, although it is not guaranteed that laws alone can bring all kinds of social changes, it gives emphasis to the potential for law to be an agent of social change. And it also gives people an opportunity to go raise their concerns at an institutional level if their rights get violated. So on that essence, sir, I think it is a catalyst for change.
Yeah, that's a very positive side of that, I agree. Recently, one great writer in Kerala, he said that, for example, about live-in relationship, it endangers now practically the safety of women.
Yes.
He made an observation like this. So what is your take on that?
Yes, sir. Live-in relationships being a new social institution which has not been completely aligned with the social ethos now can have some problems. And when you look at the legal framework, it is not completely legalized. I mean, all the provisions are not completely well written, which means there are gray areas which are open to interpretation. And this would include regarding the rights of children who are born out of the marriage, regarding the right of the spouses, or what kind of property relations would regulate their relationships, what happens in case if there's a domestic violence, etc. So as long as this continuous gray area, sir, there is a risk of safety concern. But however, with greater awareness and greater institutionalization of the laws, I believe we can have a better safeguarding.
Don't you think in areas like this, which are primarily a domain of the parliament,
Yes,
where the judicial intervention, while it gets some support, but it creates a lot of social problems?
Yes, sir. It can cause social tensions as well. Like in the case of the Shabarimala judgment, we saw how the Supreme Court, despite coming up with a very equalizing judgment on women's entry, the Kerala society was not really completely prepared to accept it. So it is essential that the judgments also need to be supplemented with enough stakeholder consultation and large number of forums where people get to express their opinions and thereby evolve at a consensus. Because society at the end of the day is not just about laws and institutions, it's also about people interacting, and their emotions and their acceptability of one another also plays a very important role.
Now, where do the Shabarimala judgment stand now?
So right now it is being taken up for a larger benches discussion on that, I believe.
In fact, one of the judges had deferred in that particular judgment.
Yes, sir.
You are aware of that?
Yes, sir.
Justice Indu Malhotra.
Yes, sir.
What were her views?
Sir, I'm not able to recollect the exact points made by her.
What is your personal opinion on this entry of women in Shabarimala?
Sir, my personal opinion is in line with what constitutional morality as has been upheld by the Supreme Court is. I'm of the opinion that those women who wish to enter Shabarimala and offer their worship should be given an opportunity to do that.
Suppose you are in charge of administration to enforce this constitutional morality which you mentioned. How do you go about that?
Sir, enforcement of constitutional morality is a tricky position to be in because it is not just about laws enforcement, it is also about the willingness of the people to accept it. So, I would start.
You put yourself, say, the role of the collector Patradra. You are
Yes.
asked to enforce this, implement this. I would
Okay,
not
sir.
say enforce, implement. How do you go about
Okay.
it?
So, to those women who wish to enter, I think if there is any potential for any social conflict or tension, enough safety mechanisms can be put on place so that their right to enter the temple would be protected. And as to deal with any potential social tensions, I would ensure that enough discussion and debates are given scope for. And secondly, even if people want to protest against it, that would be carried out in a manner that does not affect the public order and create any problems that way.
Okay, we will come out of that. Recently, when this central budget was presented, there was a lot of protest in Kerala. The opposition and the ruling party were together. What was their stand?
So the protest from Kerala primarily stemmed from the observation that in the reforms proposed in the union budget, many of the items from Kerala's wish list was not included. Say, for example, the proposal for an AIMS institute in Kerala, the budgetary allocation for a rapid rail corridor, etc., could not find its mention, though the state was hoping it would. So that was the major point.
So what should be the political response of the government of Kerala or the state of Kerala?
So by political response, I mean, could you please...
Now, political response means the response of the leading political parties, and also the government is also a political entity. So
Yes.
what should be the response of the government? But they are accountable to the people, isn't it?
Yes,
It's a federal system.
Yes, sir.
They are also answerable.
Yes, sir. So, any kind of disagreement the government has with the union budget can be raised in respective forums, be it in the parliament or with respect to the finance commission consultations or the GST council as and when needed.
But finance commission award that it is somewhat favorable to Kerala.
Yes, sir. The share of devolution for Kerala has increased from 1.9% till last time to 2.3.
How did it happen?
So this time there had been a change in the devolution criteria. The demographic performances were given a weightage of 10% by taking into account not just the TFR but also the population overall change from 1971 to 2021. Secondly, sir, a new criterion such as contribution to the GDP was added, which also is overall GDP of the country was added, where Kerala contributes around...
Okay, good. One last question.
Okay, sir.
You studied electronics.
Yes, sir.
You make use of some AI tools.
Yes, sir.
Which are the tools?
So mainly ChatGPT.
Okay. That we all make use. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
See, as a person born on Jan 9, tell me what is the importance of that day?
Ma'am, Jan 9th is celebrated as Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. It was on this day in 1915 that Mahatma Gandhi came back to India.
So how is this day generally celebrated by the government?
Ma'am, Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is held every 2 years to bring together the diaspora and the Indians here. So last year it was held in Odisha and various discussions and dialogues and summits happened alongside.
Bharati awards are also.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's move on. See, as a student of sociology, tell me which are the major tribes in Palakkad district?
Ma'am, in the Attapadi region, there are tribes like Irula, Kurumba, Kodaga, etc.
Okay. See, I'll give you I'll give you a statement. You have to debate for and against it.
Okay, ma'am.
It's regarding the caste census.
Okay.
So, debate for and debate against it for me.
Okay. For the caste system, caste continues.
Caste system.
Caste census, yeah. For the caste census, caste continue to be a social reality in India, and any social reality needs to be calculated and have to be, in order to ensure that we have an evidence-based reasoning of that system, proper tabulations have to be held. The last time we had a caste census was back in 1931, and ever since then, so many changes have happened. There had been social mobility to some caste groups. There are still continuing problems for various caste groups. And to have a comprehensive understanding of all of this, we need to have a caste census so that the policy making can be evidence and data based. Now, against the caste census, it is not about how caste census is carried out, it is about how the data out of it would be used. So in a country like India, where political elections and campaigns are often rooted on identities like caste, it is highly likely that this can be misused. We can have social tensions in societies by targeted screening of certain castes, and their already existing vulnerabilities can be exploited. So a caste census in that ground should not be held. And it is under this same rationale that the data of the 2011 census, despite having caste census carried out, was not publicized.
So tell me one more question on caste before we move on. See, in Indian cities, in modern urban spaces in India, caste is considered to be both static as well as fluid. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am. Caste is considered to be static because even despite modernity and waves of urbanization, caste preferences still take a role in our personal choices. Caste-based endogamous marriages are quite common, and this is quite evident in the rising number of matrimony profiles based on caste. Now, however, caste is as well fluid because we do not see a stringent caste-based discrimination or caste-based social distancing of people, be it with respect to interdining or with respect to occupational choice, etc., as much as in the past.
You think caste should be annihilated?
Sir, in the long run, yes.
Okay.
You spoke about annihilation of caste.
B.R. Ambedkar.
See, as an electronics engineer, I'm interested in knowing what is the solution for e-waste crisis? Like as a country, we are producing a lot of e-waste.
Yes, ma'am.
So as an engineer, tell me what are the ways to tackle this crisis?
Ma'am, I think the best way would be to ensure that we have enough recycling facilities for the e-waste. So if we can put the e-waste into newer technologies, like say for example the waste from, I'm not sure if this would actually be possible, but let's say from computers be made into use in electric vehicles that way, we'll be able to have a circular economy.
Okay. Fine. See, what do you know about India's semiconductor mission, and why do you think semiconductors are the option for the future? There's so much of conversation around it.
Yes, ma'am.
So as an engineer, tell me, what do you understand? I think it's a resource for the future.
Ma'am, Indian semiconductor mission was launched in order to ensure that we develop our capabilities in all the three pillars of the semiconductor ecosystem, which includes 1, design, 2, the fabrication, and 3, the assembly, packaging and moduling of the products. So, and as far as India is considered, we're doing pretty well in the first pillar of design, and with respect to the second and third, with initiatives such as the budgetary allocation from the government and with partnerships from other major countries, say with PMSE and Tata here in Gujarat, we are stepping into the venture of fabricating semiconductors here in India. And as to the importance of semiconductors, ma'am, semiconductors form the bedrock of various other industries as well. It's a foundational industry. We require semiconductors for automobiles, for other consumer electronics, etc. So that way it is very important. And it also drives the overall digital ecosystem of India. Transistors are present to begin with in almost every digital device, from the mics to the camera.
Okay, do we have a national youth policy?
Not yet, ma'am, to the
Yeah, we
best
do
of.
have.
Okay, I need to read on.
Another question, and the last one would be, see, there was something called the 𝐈𝐧𝐭𝐞𝐫𝐯𝐢 Young Leaders Dialogue, right?
Yes.
What do you understand about it, and what is this whole concept of 𝐈𝐴𝐴 as far as your concern?
Ma'am, 𝐕KSIT Bharat is the ambitious goal of the government of India to be a developed country by 2047, not just in economic terms, but also in social, environmental, and other aspects as well. And in order to get the views of the young people for the overall trajectory of ours towards this goal, 𝐕KSIT Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue was held last month, and youth from different domains from all states of the country were participated in that, and their views were taken into account.
Yeah, one more question.
Yes.
Do we have a national telecom policy?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so what do you know about it? What is the main goal of having a national telecom policy?
Ma'am, I cannot recollect the exact provisions.
Anjana, you are from Palakkad. So which are
Yes, ma'am.
the geographical indication products from Palakkad? And if you are an administrator, what would you like to do to promote them?
Ma'am, the GI tag products include, one is the Palakkad and Matta rice, and two is the Attapadi Tuvara kind of gram. And as to the promotion of that, ma'am, one, greater incentives will be given to the producers so that increased production will take place in a fair and sustainable manner. And secondly, there would be greater branding of these products so that it can appeal well to the other parts of the country as well as abroad.
Currently, what is the scope? Are these products well received or promoted in India or abroad? Are you aware?
I'm not aware of the exact status, ma'am.
Okay. Do you believe in climate change? How is your district getting affected due to climate change?
Yes, ma'am, I believe in climate change. The rising temperatures and the erratic monsoons are the basic indicators of it to begin with. And as far as to how Palakkad is affected, ma'am, it's mainly with respect to the intense heat waves in the district. So Palakkad being a continental district without the moderating effect of the sea directly, temperature rises are much more sharpened in the district. And even there are higher number of lightning related deaths in the district, which can also be attributed to this to some good extent.
What are some important historical places in your district?
Ma'am, one is the Palakkad Fort, which was built during the time of Hyder Ali. Secondly, ma'am, the Kalpati villages alongside the Palakkad Tamil Nadu border is also historically significant. Thirdly, ma'am, there are also many traditional houses which we call as mana in the district. For example, the 𝐈𝐴𝐴 mana, which is quite popular in so many Malayalam movies as well.
So which are some of the books that you have read recently, or some of your favorite books?
Ma'am, one I read lately was Abhinav Bindra's Short at History as his autobiography. And as to the others, it's been quite a while since I've actively read. Last one I believe is Sapiens from Yuval Noah Harari.
Okay. So if you get posted to the sports ministry,
Okay.
can you tell me 3 things that you would like to do to promote women in sports?
Okay, ma'am. I think a multi-pronged approach have to be taken here. Firstly, maybe I would start with some behavioral changes where girls playing out in the open as boys, be it for some cricket or football, in the common grounds of the locality would be promoted. So this is particularly important, I believe, because that way we get the idea that sports is not just for boys but for girls as well. and it can also open doors for women into traditionally male-dominated areas like cricket and football. Secondly, ma'am, incentives can be given for sports coaching in the schools by the schemes like 𝐀𝐧𝐿O India and Target Olympic Podium, etc., which are already in place, can have separate allocation for girl students so that it would incentivize them further. And thirdly, ma'am, infrastructure facilities can also be made available, say quality turfs, enough number of coaches, etc., so that girls do not have to stay away from the sports just because they happen to be girls.
Are you aware of any initiatives by the government, either by the center or the state, for the handloom sectors?
I cannot recollect the name, ma'am, but yes, there are initiatives for their promotion, including khadi and other natural textiles.
Okay. So, in Kerala, the aged population is really rising.
Yes.
And in many places, only the aged parents are left behind. The children are not there, and they might be in other places settled. So, what would be some initiatives that you would like to do to engage with the aged population?
Ma'am, that would again require multi-sectoral efforts. One, in order to ensure that the people left out because of the children's migration do not feel lonely, and for that greater community spaces for the elderly can be encouraged. Secondly, ma'am, the concept of active aging can be popularized in Kerala, and so we do not look at elderly as people, as idle people. Rather, young people can as well learn from their wisdoms and their experiences. So for that, if we can have them as mentors for various initiatives, to a good extent, their loneliness can be tackled. Thirdly, ma'am, the palliative care also needs to be further emphasized on a larger level, so that the psychosocial support to them becomes very much available right in their homes itself.
Okay. If not for civil services, when you were pursuing engineering, what did you want to do?
Civil services, ma'am.
So it has started much before.
Yes, ma'am. It was in college that I decided I don't want to be an engineer.
Okay. So my last question to you, who is this Saint Dominic? You studied in that convent school.
Yes. Ma'am, Saint Dominic was a 12th century Spanish saint, and he had given much importance to education, and education for all people rather. And it was to honor his contributions that Dominican congregations here started missionary schools. Thank you.
Would you recommend that India joins the Board of Peace initiative of President Trump? And why? Either way.
Yes. So the government has not yet accepted the offer, primarily because there are still a lot of grey areas associated with the proposal. So in this case, the membership comes with a large fee. And secondly, there is also this concept of international stabilization forces, which is not a UN recognized force for ensuring peace. And thirdly, as to what degree the members can have their leverage in that, and how exactly the governance would be carried out, and when and how a peace can actually be established in Gaza is not yet properly set. And on that note, sir, I think the current restraint of India to accept the offer is justified.
Should we be buying Venezuelan oil from USA? Spoils of war.
Yes, sir. Sir, one of the major problems with purchasing Venezuelan oil is that the oil is rather of a crude material, and our refineries are not well equipped to handle that sort of a material as of now. And so the economics have to be taken into account if we are to purchase the oil, sir.
I thought Indian oil companies had invested in Venezuelan oil.
Okay, sir.
And that some of our refineries are very well equipped to deal with that.
Okay,
that is my understanding.
Oh, all right, sir. I'll check on that.
But then this issue is whether a country occupies another country and starts selling its resources. Should we be lining up to buy that?
Yes, sir. Yes. That.
Just your views. I mean, government may do what they please.
Yeah. Sir, national interest to a certain extent is important, but however, just by mere purchasing of oil from Venezuela in this case should not become an endorsement of the American actions in Venezuela, I would say, sir.
So we have been defending purchasing of oil from Russia, despite our being told that that will actually finance the war against European state and so on. So suddenly all those arguments go out of the window when it comes to Venezuela.
Yes,
Might
sir.
is right, right?
Yes.
Feedback.
So Anjana, I think you presented yourself well and you are smiling and all that. In between you got a bit rattled with some questions that you're not too sure.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you presented a very pleasant thing. The only things that I would like to say is that RTI, that Form 7,
Yes.
it is not only Rajasthan. Not only Gujarat. There are a lot
Okay.
of states who have faced this issue now.
Okay, ma'am.
Just familiarize yourself
Yes.
with those issues.
Sure.
And also the Supreme Court on matter, because you're an engineer, I
Yes,
asked
yes.
that question.
Yeah.
Just take a look. There are a lot of nuances in that issue
Okay.
about, one of them you mentioned about
Yeah.
the giving, compliance if the data can be shared. But that's not the only
Okay, ma'am.
issue. So just take a look at that. I think that's just all. I don't want to ask anything.
Anjana, I had met you earlier.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think we met
We
you.
met.
Yes.
You are doing extremely well. Then also you were good. You have improved over
So
a period of
did you come this time, Anjana, earlier?
Last month, ma'am.
She
That's
came.
what,
She came in the beginning.
I saw
yeah.
you and I kept thinking I've seen you.
Yes.
You were speaking much faster then.
Thanks.
Now you are maybe
Yeah, it is
you are moderated and you are doing well. Good.
Thank you, sir.
Everything, the fundamentals are all on the right place. I have nothing to. One or two things going to the contents of that. Since you have sociology and then technology, these are two your backups. Sociology thing, I deliberately asked that question. That's a matter of social concern, what I raised. See, M. Mukundan recently said women's safety is compromised through this live-in relationship. That was widely quoted.
Okay.
He is right, I feel. I am a police officer, I have been, so I have some connects and I follow these things. There have been a number of incidents of murders reported from big cities. And also, I know in Kerala also, some very, 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 very sad. And because there is no protection. Marriage as an institution with all its shortcomings and all has been established. There is a process of violence within marriage and things like that mechanism. This is free for all now. It has become like that. So the adverse effects are also felt. There have been reported incidents, cases, some dead bodies coming out of refrigerators and things like that have happened in many places. So those consequences are there. It is not the question of something may be good. I have nothing against it, but the practical consequences are also there. Since you are a sociology person, I thought you should be a little more sensitive, understanding about that. Then I thought, on the caste angle also, I deliberately asked you whether it can be annihilated. See, Ambedkar, I have read that book. Ambedkar wrote that in his intellectual spirit and enthusiasm. I don't think he himself ever envisioned or no, I would not say envisioned, foresaw that this will be annihilated. Perhaps a position can be the ill effects coming out of that.
Yes.
Can it be eliminated through the constitutional process? Even the Indian constitution doesn't aim at annihilation of caste. Does it?
Yes.
It only addresses how to
Deal with the
take away the disadvantages or the discriminations and things like that. So probably you can take a more,
Okay.
because this could be viewed as an extreme opinion. Probably.
Okay.
You can think over that.
Sure, sir.
And I thought when you asked about book and all, you were thinking a lot. You should tell some book. Sapiens is enough. Sapiens is popular.
I was thinking which was
No,
the last one I read.
Something you should say.
Yes.
Nobody is going to check with you.
So I gave both options. Recently read or any of your
Oh,
favorite
okay.
books. You know, just kept
You
it
should
open.
tell
like-
something.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Only thing is, but giving that much time means you are not very booky. Then that crude oil thing, when Sir asked, you were evading that question. That's why you made a technological. So it's a political question.
Okay.
You were trying to take the cover of the high sulfur content and all. Technology is not the issue.
Okay.
That political thing, it will appear like evasive. Then when Sir said something, you said yeah. You are not expected to say that.
Sorry.
You can see the recording.
Yes.
Nothing wrong in Kerala, Trivandrum, but UPSC board don't
UPSC.
expect that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Particularly after Yar yesterday.
Then he is my batchmate. So Krishna Prasad, he is a good politician. He is in the right place. Elderly. This elderly, see, connected, that is one area I feel wherever it is possible, you should bring in technology.
Yes,
Like, I have seen many elder people staying alone and all with some support. People are away. They have regular video conferences, meeting interactions. So, I mean, people, there are in real difficulty. They are not able to be together away. So, using all those means to reduce the agony of isolation and things like that. That is also happening. Even consultation for many illnesses, even reaching out. I think our state government itself has got some such programs.
Yes, sir.
So in fact, in the flat in which I was staying, there was a lady. She was nearly 100 years old. She was staying alone with some servants. And others were supporting, and daily she had the interaction. And when we meet, also tell something, she will tell to her children. But I think that connect was working. I felt. I am not telling you give. I know some personal experience. I mentioned how technology can be.
Sure.
Can come for the earlier, like when you are away, there is one letter or telephone is difficult. So how technology has brought the distances shorter, such things maybe you can integrate. Otherwise, generally you are doing extremely well. Study on issues around. When is the interview?
26th.
Last.
Yes.
Okay, all the best.
Thank you, sir.
See, I personally feel you're an excellent candidate because at the age of 25, I don't know if I could really sit like this and give answers. The way your command over the language is very good. The way you frame sentences, it also it sounds like music to my ears anyhow. You're very well dressed. You were addressing all of us. We were all engaged in the conversation. See, what I would suggest is in between, like ma'am said, there can be a situation where you might face a stress interview. So my only advice is that if at all situation becomes stressful, try to maintain your cool. Don't give it away that you are thoroughly under stress and you're feeling completely grilled.
Okay.
So
Keep smiling.
yeah, be cool. Even if you might not be feeling cool from inside, and you might think probably your heart is beating double that it should be, but remain focused and remain composed. I mean, it's easier for me to say, but obviously you have to try and be composed and calm. You have a very excellent profile, the way you speak, the way you present yourself. I honestly cannot find a lot of mistakes, but obviously you can, as you have some more time, like I think around 20 days.
20 days, yes.
Yeah. So you can prepare on certain topics, whatever you've written on the DAF, you can think of questions which can be asked based on, when a layman sees your DAF, you might be having a peer group also. Ask them to, frame some questions based on what they feel somebody seeing this DAF would be asking you, and you can be more, prepared on certain things. Like, for example, the book. It would have been very easy to come up with an answer if you would have thought about it once, because that's a very common question. So like that, there can be common question. You have written journaling also. So anybody could take you to anywhere from Malayalam literature, English literature, whatever you have read. Have some, at the top of your mind, have some books which you have read properly.
Yes.
Not ones which are popular books or you haven't read. Obviously, please don't do those. So those kind of predictable questions can be prepared. So if at all it comes, you'll be able to, hit it out of the park. Right now, already you're doing very well. You can, it can be a blockbuster interview if you try.
Sure.
But in any case, if it becomes stressful, please retain your composure. You will be able to do really well. I found you very impressive. I mean, I have seen so many candidates. You probably come out as a top 2, 3 for me.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your father was in Manorama.
Yes, sir.
So somebody can see that and
Yeah.
interview can go to journals.
Yes, sir.
They are really good.
Thank you.
I also felt that this time you were. I felt the energy thing was like, but maybe like that was more to bring in more composure and to. But in your face and all, you should keep up your enthusiasm and your energy. I think that is one very good thing about you. So otherwise, all good things only. Just that when you introduce yourself, you didn't say anything other than your DAF. So this is an opportunity for you. So never limit yourself to DAF. Say something more.
Okay.
Even in a normal interview, somebody says like introduce yourself, you should go beyond your resume or your biodata. And I think compared to the last time I remember, you had to like bring people-centric view. You had to more. So I think this time you have done that. So that is also a very good thing. So in the time that you have, you keep reading on the things, fact-based matters, current affairs. At the same time, try to practice some opinion-based questions also, because that's the time you can really shine. You have a good clarity of thought, very logical, rational. You have a good way of presenting. So I think that will make a lot of difference also. But in your face and all, do not make any change in your energy and enthusiasm. You are a very that is your natural self. But in terms of answering and all, you can make it more spaced out and so that you are someone who thinks and speaks. But all the best. Very
Thank you.
good. You will do well.
Thank you. Ma'am, about the self-introduction, I was suggested that maybe I can try something like I identify myself to be a ethical, compassionate, such kind of thing. I'm not sure if that.
You decide for yourself.
No, I do identify certain values about myself, but I'm not sure.
You should be able to defend
Yes.
or support.
Yes.
You can just say that something like, I'm a confident person. I like something like that. Even I have heard from others also that I identify myself, but maybe something little more like as a friend or something that you would write in a bio, as a very raw person. You're only 25 years. So maybe something like that also you can say, but something other than that. I just asked about the books because you appear to be someone who might be reading books or should be reading books. Then I thought you may not have written in DAF because you don't want to invite questions kind of thing. So you say something.
See, any educated, intelligent person is expected to read and read books. So that's a normal question which can come to anybody.
Yes.
You can't say that I didn't write in DAF, so why did they ask?
So the oil question, it's about energy security.
Yes.
It's a larger issue.
Sure.
And national interests will dictate that you need to source it from wherever it's available.
Yes.
Geopolitical considerations are there, but availability and ability to process, it's already there. I think Reliance
Okay.
Yes,
already has.
Okay.
Already has, and other public sector oil companies have invested. They are about $100 million. So it's not the technical.
Okay, sir.
Okay, but you're doing exceedingly well. All the best.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Only be very careful when you add things, be ready to defend it.
Sure.
So think about that very carefully.
Sure, ma'am.
You have been sleeping well, no?
Yes, yes.
You seem a bit tired.
I was having some slight fever 2 days ago. I'm good.
Keep smiling.
Yes.
Everything will be taken care of.
Thank you,
Right.
sir. Thank you.